does. So I'd like to talk to you just a little bit about your alcohol consumption over the last year. One of the things I would like to do, it's called an alcohol screening questionnaire. It's called the audit, and I'm going to ask you 10 questions about how much or how often or how frequently or what happens when you consume alcohol. And keep in mind, we're going to talk about the last 12 months of your alcohol consumption. Do you feel okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. One of the things I would like to make sure we talk about before we talk about this is what is considered a standard alcoholic beverage. So what size, okay? Because what you may drink and what may be considered standard, you may not be standard in comparison to the questions I'm going to ask. So for example, let's say you have an alcoholic, a liquor. Let's say it's an 80 proof or something, and you have a shot glass. About 1.5 ounces of that shot glass is going to be considered a standard amount of 80 proof alcohol. And then let's say you have a wine glass, and you have a tall wine glass. I don't know if you drink yours all the way to the top or what, but about 2/3 of the way is considered a standard drink of wine. Your beer, those type of beverages, not a whole bottle, but let's just say you have the tall boy glass. Once you go to the restaurants, a lot of times they'll fill them all the way to the top. Well, that's a little bit more than what's standard for this test. Standard again is a little bit more than 2/3, roughly about 8 or 9 ounces, I think, maybe even 10. But those are the standards. I think it's 12 ounces of beer, my bad. So it would be equal to some bottles and some cans, but in a glass it's not as much. So does that kind of match your thought of a standard drink? Okay,
Yes.
awesome. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read these questions exactly as they're worded, and what we'll do is you answer them to the best of your ability and as close to correct for you as you can, and then we will discuss your alcohol consumption and what this audit screener tells us, okay? So, number one, how often do you have a drink containing alcohol?
Rarely.
Okay, so we have options of never, monthly or less, 2 to 4 times a month, 2 to 3 times a week, or 4 more times a week. Which one of those fits you the best?
Monthly or less.
Okay. Number 2, how many drinks containing alcohol do you have on a typical day when you are drinking? The answers to this one are 0 to 2, 3 or 4, 5 or 6, 7 or 9, and 10 or more.
0 to 2.
Number 3, how often do you have 5 or more drinks on one occasion? You have never, less than monthly, monthly, weekly, daily, or almost daily.
Never.
Never? Okay. How often during the last year have you found that you were not able to stop drinking once you had started? Again, we have never, less than monthly, monthly, weekly, daily, or almost daily.
Never.
Never? Okay. How often during the last year have you failed to do what was normally expected of you because of drinking? Same set of answers. Never, less than monthly, monthly, weekly, daily, or almost daily.
Never.
Never. Number 6, how often during the last year have you needed a first drink in the morning to get yourself going after a heavy drinking session? Same round of answers from never across the board to daily or almost daily.
Never.
Number 7, how often during the last year have you had a feeling of guilt or remorse after drinking? Again, never, less than monthly, monthly, weekly, daily, or almost daily.
Never.
Okay, never. Number 8, how often during the last year have you been unable to remember what happened the night before because of your drinking?
Never.
Never? Okay. Have you or someone else been injured because of your drinking? And you have no, yes, but not in the last year, and yes in the last year.
No.
No. Number 10, has a relative, friend, doctor, or other healthcare worker been concerned about your drinking or suggested you cut down? No, yes, but not in the last year, and yes, in the last year. No? Okay. Let's see. Have you ever been in treatment for an alcohol problem?
No.
Never? Okay. All right, well, that was the 10 questions. We're gonna take a short little break and then we will start back at the website, get this scored, and we'll talk about your results and about your alcohol consumption and how it pans out, okay?
Okay.
All right.